Today it's Monday, January 15, 2024. Few things for the billet block, for the 2JZ. Yesterday, the owner, he sent me the installation instructions for the connecting rods and the torque specs actually, and some information for the block, torque specs mostly, alright? That's a good thing to have, okay? Pay attention for the connecting rods. Apply 50 weight oil to bolts, not assembly grease, not 10W50 or 10W60 or 5W40 oil. Apply 50 weight oil. 1 second. This is a 50 weight oil, alright? And like I said on Saturday, these are important information for me because if I don't know the torque specs, how I'm gonna put it together, right? How you gonna check the connecting rods? How you gonna bolt down the lowercase this one to check the main line? It is important. It's a good thing to have it. Then, few things. Why you don't see so many Toyotas and Nissans engine rebuilds here? Why I'm not making so many here, right? There are plenty in the market. It's very simple why. Because the other garages, they're charging the one-fifth of the price that we are charging here for an engine build. So that means in other places you can build 5 engines, and here in this place you can build only 1 engine. Or you can build your engine, let us say, in another place 5 times, as an example. Some people, they're balancing, especially when you have a racing application. You're saying that, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna make 1 run and then I have to strip off the engine, as an example. So even if you're a little bit more sloppy, you know from the beginning that you need to change 1 run, and then you need to change the crankshaft main bearings, you need to change the pistons, piston rings, so it's pointless to go so much precise. Now, for a daily use car, it's a completely different story. You know, you cannot say that, okay, I'm gonna close like that. In both cases, you're not closing the engine when you have metal-to-metal contact. It's not smart. It will gonna fail. You're not closing an engine when the firing, it steps slightly on the edge between the cylinder head and the sleeve, in this case, all right? That's only, it's not smart. It will gonna burn it, you know? It's 101, it's a common sense actually. So what's the point here? If the machinist, if the machine shop, he machined perfectly the main line, the block, the sleeves, you know, everything, it's perfect. And it says to you that, you know what, I'm down to 5,000 of millimeter plus minus, not even 100 millimeter, all right? And everything is perfect, pistoning, gap, balancing, everything. Then you need 1 guy just to put it together. You need 1 person. The only thing what he's gonna do, that guy, he's not gonna get any measurements. He's gonna just only follow the torque specs and he's gonna close the engine. So if this is the case, if that's the case, if let us say that, you know what, you bring me 1 engine and you said to me, Tassos, do not measure anything. Don't check anything, just put it together. Use assembly grease, use 50 weight oil for the bolts, you know, you're not gonna tell me how we're gonna use it, actually. Or some people, they want different sealant, as an example. You're gonna tell me, you know what, don't use this sealant while you're using the Toyota, use something else. It's up to the owner. It belongs to him, it doesn't belong to me. Again, to the point. If it comes somebody here and he brings me 1 crankshaft and he said to me, do not measure anything. Don't check it at all the crank. Just make sure that it's nice and clean and put it together and torque it down to specs. Same thing also with the pistons. This piston, this connecting rod, this piston rings, you're gonna end up to be on the number 1. I need this on the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And 6. Yeah, not 7. 7 has the bearings. Sorry. You're gonna use, as an example, these crank main bearings, these connecting rod bearings, and do not check any clearance. What I want from you, just only put it together. If it's like this, then yes, we can charge the same price like the other garages. It's not a big deal. Within a day, the engine is gonna be ready. But you have to sign a paper that we are not carrying responsibility if you have any problem. Because simply, I'm just closing my eyes and I'm putting together 1 engine. Now, I haven't found any engine that, especially these kind of cases, that don't need extra machining. Some people, they get away with that. Why? Because it's Toyota, because it's Japanese engines. They are an old engines, they're not the new engines. If you try to do such a thing on the new engines, you don't have a chance, all right? And guess what? Sometimes I'm facing problems also with the Mercedes. Machining, let us say, and we have seen a couple of times. To me, to close my eyes and close one engine, if I have a paper from the owner that I'm not carrying any responsibility, if something happened, then yes, I'm gonna follow the torque specs, like I said. I'm gonna put assembly grease, assembly oil, 50 weight oil for the bolts, sealant where it's supposed to be, where you're supposed to apply sealant to make sure that it's nice and clean. And then yes, I can do it. But, there is a but. If I have to measure the crankshaft, if I have to measure the connector of the big end, the connector itself, to get the weight, to see what's going on, stretch the bolts and check the inner diameter, the small end, get the volume from the combustion chamber, degree the camshafts, and do all this stuff. I mean, measure the cylinder bore, measure the main line. This takes much more time. To close an engine, if you have measured everything, it's one day job. In one day, maximum 2 days, you can put it back together and that's it. Finish the story. All right? To get your measurements, to make sure that everything is right, it's correct, and it's within the specs, and it's not all over the place. All right? Prepare the parts, clean the parts, and then start putting it together. It takes time. That takes time. That's the thing. That's what you pay. You know, with all due respect, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying, I had to trim the video because by mistake I put the number plate from the 204 there out. They removed the cover, the guys, and now I put it back again. Sorry for the sudden cut. Like I said earlier, it is what it is, okay? Now, there is one gentleman, he mentioned, he said, you know what, don't make a drama. Just do your job. It's not a drama, it's a horror movie here, what you see. Just put your place on the owner's place, all right? How much money he spent for the block, how much money he spent for machining, for the camshafts, for the cylinder head, for the crankshaft, for the pistons, for the connecting rods, for the bolts, for everything. Just put it in your mind and see how much it takes to do such a thing. And then you're gonna see that it is a drama, it is a horror movie, you know? Because you are expecting this. You're making it for one season, you're building it for a season, and after every season, let us say you're opening, you might need to change the pistons, the piston rings, you might need to change the bearings, as an example, to prepare it for the next season. And then you're ending up with one engine that, honestly, it will not gonna run. It might make one run, and that's it. That will gonna be. Except there is one possibility that if the owner, he want to use it natural aspirated with a normal petrol and to make, let us say, 100 horsepower only, then yes, it will last forever. You're not gonna have any problem. No, again, the main bearings are not gonna last forever. It's gonna last the cylinder head, the head gasket, not the cylinder. Sorry, the head gasket. Yeah, that's the point. The main bearings doesn't matter what are you gonna do. As soon as you have metal-to-metal contact, forget it. You know, except if you expand that much the block, that is gonna give so much clearance to the bearings. So, again, think about it. Me, I'm putting myself on a place of a customer, of the owner, if it was mine. That's how I'm closing every single engine. I'm not closing my eyes. If you bring me all these parts, and you said to me, Tassos, put it for me together, and I'm getting some rough measurements, and I see that it's all over the place, I'm gonna tell you that, you know what, I don't want to close this engine, you know? Or if I close this engine, please don't mention that I was the one who built the engine, because the engine is not right from the first place. That's the thing. You know, if it was takes to me one day to put an engine, we're not gonna charge this money. If I was not measuring, if I was not getting anything, I was just closing my eyes and put it on. Or let us say with a machine shop. With a machine shop, sometimes I'm talking to them all day. I'm sending messages from them back, or I'm calling them to explain what need to be done. In this case, I have to go at the machine shop to show them exactly where they're gonna measure it, how they're gonna fix it. Yes, it will gonna change where we're gonna sit the sleeve to the crankshaft. Yes, but what are you gonna do? What choices you have to do? How are you gonna fix that? you know, in any case, whoever understand. It's total fine. You know, some people they're saying, okay, I'm gonna fix it cheap, and then I know next year I have to open again the engine. Sometimes it's not good enough even for one pull, or sometimes it goes to the dyno and then it never leaves the dyno. The pieces are in the dyno, on the dyno, you know. Yeah, that's what I have to say. You know, for my friends out there, you know me. I never force anybody to spend money. I'm not the guy. There are some friends of mine that are coming here. They say, let's make this, let's make it stronger, let's change this connectors. And I'm saying to them, you know what? You're welcome. You know, you're gonna pay money. It's okay with me, fine. But you have, let us say, an engine that has 20,000 kilometers. It's not suffering. Why you want to mess with the engine? You can ask people. You know, it's not about, even if you're a millionaire, is it worth it to do something, you know, when it's running fine, as an example? Yeah, you need more power. It has already power. If there is a problem, then yes. If it is for a season, or if for a racing application, for a dragster, or whatever, yes, it's a different story. I totally understand. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Now, I'm not trying to make drama. I have said that 1 million times. It is, you are sad when you see these kind of things. Because all this, and it's not on my hand. I'm not a machinist to say that, you know what, I'm gonna grind the crankshaft here, I'm gonna do it with me, with my way. I might spend, let us say, to make it correct the crank, if it's straight, if it's not been bent or whatever, I might spend 1 day, 1 full day, let us say, on the crankshaft. That the machine shop, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna just grind it or polishing or whatever, and that's it, finish, end of story. Or let us say for the main line. For the main line, down, you're gonna bolt it down, you're gonna torque it down to specs, you're gonna make sure that it's gonna be on specs, you're gonna torque down the torque plate up here, you know. By the way, the owner, he's gonna bring me today the torque plate as well. You're gonna torque down the torque plate, you're gonna torque down the block, you're gonna support it, you know, and then you're gonna make your main line, and you're gonna make sure to take your time to do it nice, correct, and you're gonna do it once, you know. You're not gonna fix the main line every time, right? There are some things here and there. Or if you warm up the block, if you see that by machining it, you start warming it up, wait to cool down, to reach at the room temperature again. You don't want to have more than 30 degrees. You don't want to have less than 20 degrees. At least that's my standards here when I'm machining something here in this country. So leave it to cool down again, and then continue the machining. That's one example. Better you're doing it once, and then you don't have any headache. You know that you did the job right. That's the point. That's the thing. You don't want to come back again to do it again. Nobody wants that. That's what I believe. Some people, they don't see it with this way. All right? Again, put yourself on the owner's place. How much money he spent for all these parts, and then you're gonna realize that it is a drama when you F up the machining. Or let us say the previous mechanic who closed the engine, obviously he didn't get any measurements. Most probably he adjusted the pistoning gap. I haven't checked nothing because I'm waiting for the owner to come here, by the way. I haven't removed nothing, all right? This is how I remove it. I just wipe it a little bit with a rag, 1, 2 only. The rest, it's how I remove it. The same thing also for the crank. I just wipe the assembly grease to get some rough measurements. And it's all over the place, even with rough measurements. So the previous gentleman, whoever closed the engine, he just make the pistoning gap, probably, and then he followed the torque specs. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't know, if you give him, let us say, if he did that for free, it's okay. If, let us say, the owner, he closed the engine, it belongs to him after all, you know. I'm gonna say that, you know what, okay, it was good try what you did. It's not your mistake because you don't know where to look for. Example, this is from machining. the crankshaft, I don't know if they machine it, if they touch the mains, or if it came like this from the factory. I don't even know what brand is the crankshaft, to be honest. It's not written anything anywhere. Yeah, I don't know. By the way, yesterday I said, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I said that I have to check here where it sits the thrust washers themselves, and then I have to check also the crankshaft to see how much thickness it has, get some measurement to see what's going on. You cannot trust these thrust washers because of the marks, what you see over here, because it's being polished. This, forget it. The main bearings, you cannot reuse it. It has a metal to metal contact. You need a new bearings, all right? Now, if it looks like that it's not been drilled properly for the studs, all right? What are you gonna do in this case? What are you gonna do? You're gonna change the sleeves and you're gonna give an offset, couple of 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter, and then you're not gonna be center. But again, you prefer that than burning the ring all the time. That's why I said to the owner to pass by, to have a conversation here, to see how we're gonna continue. What are we gonna do? And that's the thing. Now, like I said, you want to build an engine and you want to go to another place that's cheap, yes, it's fine. It's okay. But make sure that all of the parts are within the specs and it's being machined properly. You want me to show you something on the cylinder head? We're talking about performance. Obviously, we're talking about racing engine. We're not talking about daily use engine. When you're doing the valve job, when you're doing the valve seat, the valve guide, the valve itself, you are lapping the valves and everything. You make sure, yes, you are grinding the tappets, the followers, okay, the camshaft follower, the tappet, to have the correct clearance between the tappet and the lobe. But there is another one thing. The height, the valve geometry inside, obviously, but there is also the height, because the height is gonna give you different, it's gonna be a small, but again, as soon as higher you're going, so much precise you have to be. I'm gonna show you something, just a second. I don't have a high speed steel. Usually I had, before I had, now I don't have this for the depth. You're measuring the depth. Okay, just remove the upper portion. You want to have, okay, on this is fine. Just, I found some of them that they're not fine. You're gonna tell me, you're gonna see from up. Yes, you're gonna see from up, but also from down. You don't wanna see crazy run out. Oh, where I found it yesterday. You have to touch at these points, a little bit small difference. Yeah, there is one that has, I don't know now which one. You want to be, all the valves, you want to be straight, so don't be crooked like this. And you want to be equal insert inside the combustion chamber, so don't be one to be higher and the other one to be lower. And the same thing you want from up, where is the safe, where is the retainer, to be almost on the same height, all of them. So the springs, they're gonna have the same load, and it makes sense, right? To don't be one more inside, the other one more outside. It has effect. It's not the best. I mean, once again, if it is for a daily use and you're gonna make only 100 horsepower as an example, it doesn't matter, okay? But that's not the case. You want to be more precise. You want to, at the end of the day, you're trying to make good numbers. You take care of all these small details to don't have a headache. If you spray nitrous and one valve it's not sealing properly, you melt the valve. It's 101, it's rule. Actually, it's not something new what I'm saying. It's now you know how many years. All right, that's what I have to say. Sorry if I waste your time, if waste anyone's time, but like I said, it is what it is. Yay. Once again, if you bring me some parts here and you say to me, Tassos, just put it together, don't get any measurement, yeah, the price will gonna be like the other garages. The same price what you pay there, you're gonna pay also here, and within a day your engine is gonna be ready. That's the thing. But like I said, you have to sign a paper that I'm not carrying any responsibility. I'm gonna make, let us say, only the piston ring gap. Then I'm gonna follow the torque specs. Don't pay attention on the bearings, on the crankshaft. Just put it on and finish the story. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Okay. Again, don't misunderstand, please. I'm just saying, That's it. Thank you very much.